Hey guys, welcome to yet another episode of Chefing with Hammy, Thanksgiving special. Today, I'm gonna go ahead and do a basic overview of the seasonings you should try to have in your cabinet, most of which you can buy in Walmart or Asian market or even an African store. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and start with black pepper, lemon pepper seasoning, crushed red pepper flakes. This is beef seasoning or beef broth mix, I guess. You can find this at an Asian market or many international stores. This right here is chicken seasoning, more on the salt side. These right here are Maggi cubes. You can find these in liquid form in Food Line, Walmart, and you can find the physical cubes like this in Asian markets or African stores. This is regular old garlic salt. This right here is parsley. Try to have oregano as well. This right here is another lemon pepper seasoning. I'm almost out. And lastly, this right here is chicken seasoning but without salt. So this is more so for flavor. What I recommend you do if you don't feel like going out to buy a lot of seasonings is just go through your cabinet, lick your fingertip, and pour a little bit of each seasoning on there and go ahead and taste it. I was gonna say smell. Go ahead and taste it so you can get a good, idea of what you have in your cabinets. What you want to do is have at least 2 salt-based seasonings and 2 flavor-based seasonings and then a lot of herbs, because those are the ones that give you the nice, crunchy flavor. Anyway, today we're going to be making mashed potatoes, Hammy style, and I decided to use most of everybody's least favorite style of chicken, which is the big drumsticks, and I'm going to show you how to make your family love it. They're pretty cheap. So of course you want to start off by washing your hands, and secondly, you want to get your potatoes. No, you're not going to go ahead and peel it. You just want to go ahead and cut them up into 4s. And when you cut it up, go ahead and put it in your pot. This is after washing the potatoes as well. And you're going to do this to all of them and set it up to be boiled. Once you cut up all the potatoes, you want to put about a tablespoon of salt in the water. Also, you just need enough water to cover up the potatoes, and you're going to let this boil for about 20 to 25, maybe 30 minutes, however it takes to overcook the potatoes. We're going to add our seasonings. One good way I try to teach people to learn to eyeball is basically just cover up a thin surface of what you're seasoning with whatever it is that you're using. So basically, this much crushed red peppers on the top of this basically flavors every single layer towards the bottom. So you just want enough to cover up the top, and it's a geometry math thing. Anyway, you just do this with the rest of them. That's about half a teaspoon, because we're doing only 4 drumsticks, half a teaspoon of everything. And go easy on the salt-based ones as well. Black pepper. We're gonna add 1 cube. We're gonna add about half a teaspoon of beef broth. Next, we're gonna do about half a teaspoon of garlic salt, about a teaspoon of parsley because it's just herbs or herbs, and lastly, the non-salt based chicken flavor, about a teaspoon of that as well. And you just want to go ahead and mix that really nicely. Alright guys, so here we are. The potatoes were fully boiled or overly boiled. And I drained them. No, we're not going to remove the skin. You want to grab a I usually use the country crock and original flavor. You want to add about, to this much of potatoes, probably about, I want to say a cup of butter. But we have about a cup of butter. If you need more later, you can add more. You want to go ahead and season it. So I went ahead and kept all the seasons out. And so we're going to start with the garlic salt. Just a sprinkle, so maybe about half a teaspoon of garlic salt. You don't want to overly season the mashed potatoes because it's not supposed to taste like seasoned potatoes, but it does need to have a taste. That's about half a teaspoon of chicken seasoning. Literally a sprinkle of crushed red peppers. Definitely some black pepper. And in we go. Here we have the mashed potatoes. You want to go ahead and blend that long enough so you actually do get it to not have lumps in it. And we're going to go ahead and taste it. And that is creamy enough. So next we're gonna go ahead and do the chicken. Before we start that, I will just have to let you know that an easy way to keep the mashed potatoes warm without actually letting it get stiff on top or whatever when you microwave it is using a smaller size pot than the bowl that macaroni is in, and you can put some water about halfway through that, boil the water and sit the bowl on top of it so it keeps the butter warm. If you do go ahead and microwave it, some of the top will overcook. Anyway, here we have the chicken. What you want to do is grab one egg because we only have 4 pieces of chicken, which means obviously if you had a bigger bowl, you would have more eggs. We're gonna go ahead, mix up that egg, and just beat it nicely. Once you beat the egg, you wanna go ahead and pour it over your chicken. And you just want to go ahead and let it sit. For some reason, the egg gives the chicken some nice little fluffy inside to it, because y'all know that's what egg is used for in baking anyway. And then plus the flour just gives it a nice little breading, because I don't like my chicken too breaded. I don't know about y'all, but you can add more flour if you like. However, we're going to keep it light. So here we have the flour. We're just going to go ahead and put about 1/4 of a cup in there. Once that is in, you'll go ahead and mix that as well. And you want to go ahead and preheat your oil to only about 240. For those of you who are going to be using a stove to fry the chicken or whatever, you can go ahead and set that to medium. If your stove is up to 8 or 9, you can do it at 4.5, 5, or 6. Now, the reason why is because you don't want to burn the outside, which is going to be quicker to cook than the inside, and that is simply because of the breading on the outside. So if you cook it on low, you'll have more time for the heat to actually cook it on the inside. This is not thick enough, so we're going to go ahead and add more flour. Remember, it's always good that you add more than less. Mix that. Lastly, you just want to go ahead, dip your finger up on the fork, give it a nice little taste, because you want to make sure your seasoning is balanced with the flour. It does simmer it down a little bit. And once you got that flavor right and on point where you want it, then you can go ahead and start frying.